why he should be thrown out of the I don't think it's बेकार की बात और छोटी है बात women is not that matter to them. No, leadership. Your leadership has got the opportunity to show to the nation. Women matter to your party. It has got an opportunity that people of color matter to this party. This can matter. You all are ready to say sorry and speak this बेकार की बात, छोटी मोटी बात, फालतू बात नहीं होती.
Hello, good evening. Am I audible to everybody? Hello, can you all hear me? Asya, Lakshmi, Sabit, Kelvin, am I audible? Okay, so I was just asking, where were you in the last class? In the last few classes? You didn't get the link or what for the last few classes? Was there any confusion regarding the class on Sunday? Okay. Yeah, I also guess the same because there was some confusion on the part of the coordinator. I got a mail asking didn't get the links. Okay, yeah, I understood that because there was not a single student in the class. And then there was a mail from the coordinator and she was asking about whether it was BBA or MBA class. So I just got that there was some kind of confusion. Okay. Alright, so we can just continue. We can just start with a new topic in economics. Now we'll be discussing about pricing. Okay, now we'll be talking about pricing strategies today. So in simple terms, Prabha, that was a law class. So I was about to teach you certain topics in law, and the leftover part that was not covered due to the scarcity of time. We just didn't do some slides towards the end of certain classes. So I just wanted to cover that. It was related to money and banking also. Okay. So now today we'll be talking about pricing. So in simple words, everybody know what is pricing. Can you just define it, everybody, in simple words? Pricing. Yes, Prabha, that was important indeed. Every class is important, every topic is important. Alright, so please define the term pricing in your own words. Everybody, what is the meaning of this pricing? Asya, Lakshmi, Sabit, Kelvin, Prabha. Buying goods with exchange of money. Okay, Kelvin, what do you think? Lakshmi, Sabit, Asya. Pricing is actually we are talking about, yes, it's the value of goods, and we are talking with perspective of a supplier or a manufacturer, I can say. Okay, so pricing is a very crucial decision from the point of view of the producer. This is the decision on which his future prospects are dependent, whether he is going to make profit, whether he is going to incur loss, whether the firm will survive in the long run, or what will be its mode of action in the coming time. That all is dependent on the pricing, because pricing should be pricing is determined on the basis of various factors, the most important being the cost of inputs, the cost of production, and a reasonable margin of profit. We need to very clearly understand that reasonable margin of profit is acceptable in the business, especially when you are a startup. If you try and if you try and aim for windfall profits in the initial stages, then you will not be a success. You cannot get extraordinary profits in the initial stages. Okay, so pricing is everywhere around us. Whatever we do, we pay a price for it. We pay rent for the apartment, tuition for the education. You are paying fees to the IMTS for this. You give fees to the dentist, doctor, everybody. The airline, railway, taxi, bus companies charge you a fare. Local utilities call their price a rate, and the local bank charges you interest for the money you borrow. Means you are paying to the service provider. It may be under a different name. Okay, if it's a service, then you are paying the if it's a airline or a railway company, you are paying in the form of fare. If it's a dentist, CA, lawyer, or somebody like that, teacher, professional, you are paying the fees to them. Okay, and if it's a bank, you are paying the interest on the money you have borrowed. So in every form, you are paying some amount of money to the other party. Okay, and the guest lecturer is paid an honorarium, and the government official takes a bribe to pass a file which was his job anyway. This is very prevalent in India. Must not be in UAE, but in India it's a very common trend, especially if you go for a government job. You have to pay a bribe. Okay, on this point only, a very good joke was cracked a few days back, when it was said that the World Cup will remain with India only, because if it is in India, and Australia will have to go to the government office, will have to go to the government employees, and they will be all on holidays. They will have to fill the application, they'll have to submit it. Employees will be on holiday, they will not entertain them, and in all, the whole procedure will take 4 years. So it's very difficult to take the cup out of India because of the prevailing trend in the service, the government departments. So that was just a joke. Okay, so the most important thing is that the price must bring in the revenue. Revenue is the sale amount which we are getting. This is the only element in the marketing mix that brings in the revenue. All the rest are cost. Yes, if you talk from the point of view of marketing perspective, then whether you do advertising, what is advertising? It is an added cost. You are paying to the advertising agency, you are paying for the advertisement campaigning, so that is a cost. You employ staff for conducting the sales of the product, that is again a cost. So revenue or sales is the only thing which indicates incoming of money. Okay, so price communicates the value positioning of the product. Yeah, what is the value of a product? That is being indicated by the price. So a firm must set a price for the first time when it develops a new product. It introduces its regular product into a new distribution channel or geographical area. It enters bids on new contract work, as in the industrial sale. This is very simple and very much understandable. When a product is developed for the first time, we need pricing, or when you are introducing a similar product with some additional features, then you will have to revise the prices. Okay, or you are entering into a new geographical area, it enters the bids on new contract. Like when you go to this, the example for this is when you are entering into a geographical area, when you what is the cost of one packet of Lays on planes in India? Anybody has any has idea? Packet of Lays chips, what is its price in India? Yeah, it's 10 rupees, and the bigger one is for 20 rupees. But when you go to a hill station, okay, when you go to a hill station, the same packet of Lays is going to cost you 30 rupees. No, not 20 even, it's 30. Why is it so? Because they are allowed by the government. Because of the low pressure on the hilly area, on the mountains, the air that is filled inside the packet, that goes out. So the packet squeezes. So there is a lot of loss to the shopkeeper. So they are permitted to charge the amount of money they want. Okay. So in this case, even if you go and complain, they will say we have no issues, you can just talk to the people around. It is so. It is this way only. So this is something really exceptional. Okay, just a second. There is someone at my door. I need to check. Give me a minute. Okay, yes, we can just continue. So the company must set its prices in relation to the value delivered and perceived by the customer. Yes, it should be realistic. It shouldn't be unrealistic. Like we take a pack of Maggi and we make it for, like, we get the pack for 10 rupees and we make it, okay, and we enjoy it. When you go to some place, some eating joint or somewhere, where you ask for the same plate of Maggi, it is going to cost you 25 rupees. So the price should be realistic. It shouldn't be unreal. Like higher price plus lower perceived value, company misses the potential profits. Okay, like if we put a higher price but the perceived value of the product is lower, like we say that the customer is not going to pay this much amount for this product, so we should keep it to this only. So we are perceiving it to be of low value from the perspective of the consumer. Then it may result in company missing the potential profits. Maybe the customer has paid for that amount, for that product if the product was really good, and it is good as per the like as per this discussion. So that is where the company will miss out a profit. Now, if the prices are lower and the perceived value is also low, then what happens is company fails to harvest the potential profits. Again, we are missing out on the expected profits. We are missing out on the profits which we might have made on that product. So this is why pricing is a very important decision, and it is a strategic decision. It is not a haywire decision. It cannot be taken in a hush. It needs proper research. Then only the pricing can be determined. And the companies have different types of pricing policies, which we are going to see in the next slide. Okay, I mean the next PPT which we are going to discuss. So price is actually a breakup of cost and profit. The costs of production should be covered, and along with that there should be a margin of profit. Now what is this cost made up of? This cost is made up of two things. What are those? Fixed cost and variable cost. So fixed cost and variable cost. Yes. So this manufacturing plus laboring, that is a part of variable cost. Alright. More the production we do, more is the number of labor we are going to employ, and more will be the wages which we will be paying. So that is a variable cost. And fixed cost is the fixed amount which we have to pay whether production is undertaken or not. Can you give me one example of fixed cost? I think we have discussed it many times. Fixed cost. One example of fixed cost. Yes, rent of the building, salary to the employees, exactly. So fixed cost is that. So cost should cover both, and then there should be a reasonable profit. Now what are the factors which are going to affect the pricing policy of a firm? The pricing objective: determining the demand for the product, estimating the cost, analyzing the competitors' cost, prices, offers, selecting a pricing method, and selecting the final price. So it's a multi-step process. The process starts when we prepare the blueprint for the product. When the product is only on the paper, then only the process is on its way. The first thing is we have to determine the demand for our product. We need to know how many customers are we going to get for a particular product. Then for this, demand forecasting techniques can be used. The costs should be estimated, means the expected cost of production, cost of labor, raw material, equipment, production, everything. Then we should have a close eye on the competitors' policy also. What is the cost they are giving? What prices are they offering? Apart from prices, what additional offers they are going to the customers to attract them? So we need to have a very close look into all these things. Then a proper pricing method should be selected, and then the final price should be determined. So what is the objective behind pricing? That is the first thing that should come into the mind of the manufacturer. Okay. So the company first decides where it wants to position its market offering. So the objective could be survival, maximize the current profit, maximize the market share, or maximize market skimming, or product quality leadership. Okay. So what is the reason behind its pricing decision? Whether it is introducing a new product. If it's introducing a new product, then it's fine. Okay, we will go by the traditional way. But if the company is making modifications in the existing prices only, it is revising its prices, then what is the reason? We need to know. what is the problem? Why is the firm not able to survive on that existing price? It's not able to cover its cost, so it may just increase the price to a little amount, or it wants to maximize the current profit. Like we are having, if we talk about cold drinks, so every now and then we get new soft drinks in the market. So the target of those companies is to maximize their current profits. Okay, maximize the market share. Again, the established brands like clothing brands, shoe brands, they may have this at their mind. Maximize the market skimming. Skimming is like taking out the layer. So layer means sometimes what do company do? They offer their product at a very high price. The objective is to cater to the needs of the higher levels of the society. So that is something like skimming. Okay, and then they're establishing the leadership of their product, means grabbing the maximum market share. Now, determining demand. Each price will lead to a different level of demand and have a different impact on the company's marketing objectives. We know that the demand and the price for the product is inversely related. More will be the price, less will be the demand. Less will be the price, more will be the demand. Vice versa. So we need to have a very close look into this. So for this, the company needs to consider the sensitivity of price and the elasticity of demand. Means how much elastic the product is. If it's elastic means if it's very much subjective to the change in the demand and the price, then we cannot increase the prices to a very higher level, because that will have a very huge impact on the demand for that product. And if it's an inelastic demand product, then we can make changes in the prices. Okay. Now, what affects this price sensitivity? One is the unique value effect, like quality, prestige, exclusiveness. Like you get the same shoes. You can get the shoes from Bata. Then you can get the same type of shoes from Liberty. Then you can get it from Adidas. So the same thing is there, but the different brands are there. So it is adding prestige and exclusiveness to the product. So that is the unique value effect of the product. Then substitute awareness by the buyers. Like the sports shoes of Bata and Adidas will be somewhere around 2000 rupees for male, I'm talking. So we know that that's a substitute is available. Then difficult comparison by the buyers. End benefit is expenditure of small part of total income. Total expenditure, purchase cost is insignificant compared to the cost of the end product. Okay, means the cost of purchasing, means the cost of manufacturing for the firm should be not very high as compared to the cost of the end product. Means the overheads will be more as compared to the initial input price in this case. If it's a low cost item, then means it's a less sensitive item, and high cost items are more sensitive. Sorry. Okay. Then the next factor is shared cost. Shared cost is the part of the cost is borne by the other party. Like suppose if an outsider comes and invests money into our company, then we are paying interest to that party, and we are using the capital provided by them. So that interest is going to form a part of our cost of the product. That is the overhead charge, overhead expense, and that interest is going in the pocket of the third party. So that is an example of a shared cost. Then sunk investment. It is product used is required as a complement to earlier purchase. Suppose you have taken a computer, then obviously you will have to buy a computer table also. So buying of that computer table is a sunk investment. Okay, you are buying it because you are in need. You are in need of that because of another product, like petrol and car. If you are having car, you have to buy petrol. Then inventory effect. Buyers cannot store the product. Yes, there are certain products which cannot be stored. Items bought more frequently. So they are more sensitive, and infrequently are less sensitive. Like the consumer durables, the eatables, they are very sensitive. Every now and then the prices are going to fluctuate. So this is price sensitivity. We need to have a very clear picture about the sensitivity of our product, nature of the sensitivity. We need to have a clear understanding of that. Then price elasticity is, it determines the change in the demand with the unit change in price. This is something which we already know. So if there is little or no change in demand, the demand is inelastic. It is price inelastic. And if there is a significant change in demand, then it is said to be price elastic. So that we know. So demand is likely to be less elastic when we have few or no substitutes. Then buyers readily do not notice the higher prices. Buyers are slow to change their buying habits. Buyers think that the higher prices are justified. This is also the mindset of people. They think that for certain products, they think that the higher prices are justified. So they go and buy it without any complaints. So this is just a overview of that price quality strategies. You can just have a look. Yeah, rip-off is done away with. No longer in existence. Okay. Now estimating cost. That was one other factor which a firm needs to consider, and this is perhaps a very important one, the most important one, because cost is the basis on which the pricing decisions are made. So we need to have a clear picture about fixed cost, variable cost, learning curve, activity based costing, and target costing. So for most important are the four. Learning curve is not very important. We can just ignore that. So fixed cost and variable cost. Now what do you think is going to make up the most percentage of the total cost of the product? Which type of cost? Fixed cost, variable cost, activity based costing, or target costing? What do you think it will be? I asked which type of cost is going to affect the costs most. It will be variable cost. The more will be the variable cost, more will be the cost of product to the firm. Okay. Now these are different types of pricing methods. We'll be seeing them in detail. So one is markup pricing, target return pricing, perceived value pricing, going rate pricing, sealed bid pricing. These are different types. We'll be seeing them in the other PPT. Now what is this psychological pricing? It is used to lessen the impact of the actual pricing in the consumer's mind. Like in the malls and in big shops, we see many offers. We see buy 2 get 1 free, buy 2 packs and get 200 grams extra. So that is psychological pricing. Over here we are playing with the mind of the customer. We are making them feel that the product is available to them at a lesser price than what it should be. Okay. So it is used as a surrogate to indicate the product quality or esteem. Then group pricing is there, and gain and risk sharing pricing. So group pricing is it's something like it is decided between a certain number of people operating together, certain number of firms operating together. Then gain and risk sharing pricing is somewhat like that only. Then this geographical pricing, different pricing at different locations. Then could be in terms of barter, counter trade and foreign currency. Yeah, means the same thing when it is indigenously made and imported. The thing will be having the different price, same thing. So that is just very logical. Now, discounts and allowances can be offered by the manufacturer to its buyer so as to attract them. It can be early payment, off-season sale, bulk purchase, discount, retail discount, cash discount, trade-in allowance, everything that can be. These are the different tricks and techniques which can be used by the manufacturer. Yeah, trade allowance is just a normal practice of business. Like suppose in case of textile industry, there is a normal practice that when we buy more than 100 bales of cotton from a manufacturer, we are going to get a discount of 2% on the whole price, on the whole bill. Okay, so that is trade and allowance. That is a normal practice of the trade that is being followed, unsaid and accepted. The next is promotional pricing. Now what is this promotional pricing? One minute. Yes. All right. So loss leader pricing, special event pricing, cash rebate, low interest financing, longer payment terms, warranties and service contracts. Okay, so these are all promotional pricing methods which may be adopted by a firm to promote the sale of its product in an indirect manner. Sometimes what happens is the firms, they organize a special event for their product. They put their products on display and they hold a dinner party for their customers. Means the wholesalers, the dealers. So that is like special event pricing. Yeah, we can say sort of seminars and exhibitions. Discriminatory pricing is dependent on the segment of the customer. We have seen that in case of monopolies and all. Yeah, food fairs may be organized, Prabha. Yeah, that's there. So we have seen in the case of monopoly that the same product was offered at different price to different companies. For example, coal. Coal is available to the common people at a lesser price, to the railways at a even lesser price, but to the industrialists where they are using it as a raw material for their machinery, they are using it as a fuel for their machinery, it is available at a very high price. So that is like price discrimination. In the airways, there is price discrimination. Same flight is going from one place to another. Discrimination. Okay, and then time pricing is like it can be varied over a period of time. Location pricing, something like geographical pricing only. Now we go to the second part of the slide, the second PPT, which is more important. Okay, just a second. I'm checking out if I haven't missed out on any important thing in this. Yeah, this is important. Responding to the competitor price changes. How are we going to respond to that? So it can be maintain the price of the product, maintain price and add value. I asked which launch a low price fighter means a inferior type of a product which can compete with the competitor's product and it will be available at a price lesser than what it was previously. That is one way to do that. Now we go to the next one. This is something that we have discussed. Yeah, this is important. Every firm should know its break-even point. Okay, so break-even point is the point of no profit, no loss. So this is something which we have discussed. We can just skip this. We will go to the different the other thing, the pricing strategies. This is discussed. This product life cycle is something that you might have discussed in the product planning class. I think you were having one class of that, product planning. So you might have just done in that. When the product is introduced, the prices may be low, then it will grow and it will go to a very good point, high point. Towards maturity, it will be stable. and then it will start declining. So this is the element of cost. We know prime or product cost. There is direct material, direct labor, direct expense. So this is all the input cost. Then product cost is production overhead, research and development cost, marketing, distribution, general administration. So this all is going to make up the total cost for the product. So this is very important. Okay, so this is a graph, this is a representation, diagrammatic representation, which is showing to us. So this red line is the fixed cost, blue is the variable. So for this firm, there are two break-even points. When it is able to achieve the sales 1 target, then this is the break-even point, because at this point, blue and green line is cutting each other. And when it is sales 2, this is the point of break even. Break even is when there is no profit, no loss. You are at a neutral condition. This is sales 2, break even point. Now these are the formulas for the break even point, not actually needed by us. You can just have a look. So break even is fixed cost upon contribution per unit. This is one formula for calculating the break even point for a firm. So 3,000 pound with a variable cost of 1,500 pound. So the contribution is 1,500 pound. So for the break even for this will be 2 pound. Okay. This is all graphical, and this is all like the calculation work which is done by the research team. The demand forecasting team collects the data about the expected demand and all. They do the analysis on that aspect, and then this data is presented to the research team. They are going to conduct a whole research on for the validity of that data, and then they will do this analysis, this break-even analysis they will do to find out the expected percentage of market that the product will capture. So now this is important. Okay, now this is the second important topic for us, pricing strategies. So the pricing strategies can be of these types: market pricing, cost pricing, loss leader, psychological pricing, demand, competitive, bundle, skimming, markdowns, payment and delivery terms. So we can now see each one in detail. So the first is the market pricing. So set prices at or around the middle of the market. Fight on other added value areas such as delivery, customer service, etc. Okay, means you have to accept the prevailing market price, and you can save on the other things like delivery terms, the customer service which you are offering. You can save on that. Have a say on these issues rather than only basic pricing. Now cost plus pricing. Cost plus pricing is cost of material, cost of labor, add an amount for profit, does not take into account the general overhead cost. The general overhead cost is not included in this type of costing. So be aware of making loss due to hidden overhead. Yes, since we are not including the overhead costs into this, but we need to be careful. Normally this is a very basic form of pricing in which we are just pricing the product on the basis of the material and the labor cost and a minimum of profit. We are not taking into account the operational costs which we will incur. Now loss leader is pricing a product below the cost to attract the customers to higher margin products. This is something which we see very often, especially on internet marketing portals, internet marketing sites like Flipkart, Amazon, Jabong. On all these we see such type of deals. Okay, they have this loss leader concept. They actually price the product below their cost of purchase. You must have seen like 5 Pakistani suits available for 1000 rupees on Home Shop 18. That all is an example of this type of pricing. This is half price, camera, free laptop with free mobile broadband. This is all a type of marketing, pricing strategy actually, and this may be in the initial stages of the business. This may be there. Okay, like what our thinking is that it must be a technique to fool the customer, but no, it is not actually a technique to fool the customer, because this is a type of pricing policy which is there. Okay, here newspapers get along with paid money coupons. Okay, then what happens? Yeah, free. Okay. Now psychological pricing is prestige pricing, odd even pricing. Prestige pricing, we will buy a shirt of Van Heusen only. We will buy a shirt of Blackberries only. We will not go to the local shop. We will not buy the local brand because that is not acceptable to us. So that is psychological pricing. Even if the product is not worth that, then the companies put up a high price for it and they charge from the customer. Alright. Then odd even pricing is $99 only. Means like we have some shops like this. Have you seen such a shop? 99 shop. It is known as a 99 shop also. So over there every product is available for 99 rupees. In India it is there. Except for few things, every other item is for 99 rupees only. So that is an example of odd even pricing. So some things which are less than 99, they are sold at that, and the other things which are a little expensive, they are like undercovered. So overall the firm is not in a loss position. Then demand pricing. Price varies based on some demand criteria. Yeah, more will be the. Prabha, you are going to see such a type of pricing strategy either in the very initial stage, or you might just see it when the firm has already made a very huge amount of profit in the past. Okay, so now they have ample backup. They have ample amount of money in their bank account which they can utilize for making good the loss which they are going to suffer in that temporary time period. Alright, that is how they make good their loss. More the demand, more will be the price for the product. So as your output increases, decreases, your price changes. Yeah. Now competitive pricing is matching or beating the market price. This is the most common thing, most common technique which we are aware of. Okay. Market prices accepted. Now bundle pricing is discounts are offered to entice the client to accept a bundle rather than one part only. Yeah, bulk selling. You are prompted to buy in bulk so that you can get good discounts. That is the offer that is given. You can see over here product X, Y and Z. Total is coming to this much. So if you will buy all of them, you are going to get a discount of 1000 rupees, or we can say 6.5% discount is available. So that is bundle pricing. Now skimming pricing. This is seen when the client is insensitive to the price. It works well in an inelastic market. Now client needs the product. Little or no substitutes are available. Innovators are the early adopters and they skim the cream of the top. So can you think of any example for this type of marketing, this type of pricing, skimming pricing? Just think. Excuse me. Yes. iPhones. Okay, yes, that is something good. iPhones. Then what else? Yeah, iPhone is a good enough example. Alright. It is innovation. So the early adopters, they are going to accept the price as it is, and demand for this is inelastic. Yes. Now markdowns. Temporary finite life offer closes on this date can be used to test the market. Okay, like this is a very common type. Offer closes on this date, so you must buy before this date. So that is again one technique to lure the customer. Then permanent, often used to get rid of old stock or perishables approaching end of the shelf life, and fire sale and soiled goods. When it is temporary, you will read such things like such lines, and when it is permanent markdown pricing, then it is normally in the case of things which are now out of, which are old, which are perishable, which may just which may become rotten, which may not be kept fresh for a long period of time. And also for seasonal things like fashion, clothing, gardening. Okay, maybe. Yes, gardening means the flowers, the plants which are available, because the plants are also seasonal. The flowers are seasonal, so in that case also it can be a markdown pricing. Payment and delivery terms. This is considered as a part of the pricing mix. Cost for payment terms borne by supplier of the purchaser depending on terms agreed. Do not forget to take into account credit terms and risk when pricing. Yeah. This is normally between the manufacturer and the dealer. In this, the payment and delivery terms are decided in advance. They may be little relaxed. They may be eased for the convenience of the parties. Okay. Now, pricing decisions. Understand how much it costs to produce or procure a product or a service. Ensure that general overhead has been taken into account when setting the pricing. Research the typical market price for your product and service and pitch accordingly. Understand your position in the market. These are the important criteria which we must keep in mind when we are going for a pricing decision. Okay, this is very important. The first step is to know what will be the cost for the product. Then we must ensure that the general overhead has been taken into account when setting the pricing. Some firms just overlook this aspect. They do not consider the overhead pricing, but that is really not worth it. Then the next is research the typical market price for your product and service and pitch accordingly. Research work is very important when you are specially introducing or planning to introduce a new product in the market. Okay. Then understand your position in the market, where what type of products, similar products are available in the market. Pricing, advertisement, transport, yeah, overhead. Yes, Prabha, overhead is that operating cost, the cost of the electricity, the cost of the telephone, the rent. Okay, the rent is actually a fixed cost. The other things, the electricity bill, the water bill which you have to pay, that all is a overhead expense. Yeah, repairs, depreciation is there. If you are having, even if you are having minimum of furniture, you have to make provision for depreciation because that is going to depreciate. Your machines are going to depreciate. So that is also an overhead expense. Okay. So understand your position in the market. High end value, cheap and cheerful, or somewhere in between. Set your price level and review ongoing. Alright. So, and this is not a one-time process. You have to keep on reviewing. Alright. This is important. If we will not do that, we are not going to achieve, or we may not be a success in the long run. Okay. So this brings us to the end of this class, the pricing decisions, the pricing strategies, pricing of the product. So we'll meet in the next class. Your next class will be on Sunday. Okay. So please be there. I'll be waiting for you. See you all. Bye. Good night. Take care. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. It must be a long weekend. Did you like, you must be having Good Friday holiday, isn't it? Yeah. Alright. No, Prabha, this is not a missed class. This is a fresh class. Okay. In the last class, I was supposed to take the topics which were not fully covered in the previous classes, but I didn't do that. Okay, because there was no student in the class. So this is a new topic, a fresh topic. Alright, see you all. Bye, good night. Please fill the feedback form which we will be getting. Good night, enjoy, have a great weekend. Bye, take care everybody.